नमस्कार, मैं आरबी सिंह यादव और आप देख रहे हैं मेरा यूट्यूब चैनल आरबी सिंह यादव एडिटर। आज मैं दयालबाग विश्वविद्यालय की जो इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस आयोजित की गई थी, जो 5 दिन के लिए शुरुआत हो रही है, उसका पहला सत्र शुरू हुआ, जिसमें कुल मालिक राधास्वामी दयाल और परम पूज्य दाताजी महाराज पीएस ससंगी साहब, रानी साहिबा उपस्थित रहे और उनके सामने ही सारा कार्यक्रम की शुरुआत हुई, जिसमें सी पटवर्धन, डायरेक्टर दयालबाग विश्वविद्यालय, ने अपना शुरुआती संबोधन दिया और उसके बाद फिर कई इंटरनेशनल वक्ताओं ने अपना मत रखा। और इस दौरान गुरु महाराज की एक पुरानी क्लिपिंग दिखाई गई, काफ़ी लंबी थी, जिसमें उन्होंने जो शोध किया था उस पर विदेश की धरती पर अपना लेक्चर दिया था, वो भी आज रिपीट कराया गया। और बाकी जो कुछ भी है वो हम आपको इसी वीडियो में दिखाने जा रहे हैं। आप देखिए वीडियो। आपने मेरा चैनल अभी तक सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो ज़रूर कर लें। और ये इस इंटरनेशनल सेमिनार का पार्ट 1 है जो हम आपको दिखाएंगे। उसके बाद हम दूसरा पार्ट आगे दिखाएंगे जब उसका आयोजन होगा। तो ये देखिए ये वीडियो, और इस वीडियो को लाइक करना बिल्कुल ना भूलें और शेयर भी करें, जिससे आम लोगों को, आम जनता को और ख़ास तौर पर जो शिक्षा का क्षेत्र है उन लोगों तक पहुंच जाए। देखिए वीडियो।
Thank you, Professor Parva. We now proceed to the first scientific talk. Now going to talk, Professor Martin, please take the chair.
Radha Sir Ami. It's my privilege to provide introduction to Professor Patwardhan, the Director of Dayalbagh Educational Institute, Dean to the University, with over 33 years of teaching and research experience. He completed his BSc Engineering from DEI in 1987, followed by an ME from the Indian Institute. He wears numerous hats and serves as Head of Electrical Engineering and Dean of the Faculty of Engineering, along with leadership roles at ICT centers in Bangalore and MTV Puran. His research interests focus on quantum algorithms, image processing, and evolutionary algorithms. He has authored over 300 research papers and has led several research and development projects. Professor Patwardhan has been a consultant for Cadence Design Systems and has collaborated with CAUTL Germany, participating in multiple research visits and conferences. He received over 20 awards for his presentations, including medals from the Institution of Engineers India. He also received the Distinguished Alumni Award from DEI this year. He is Vice President of the System Society of India, a Fellow of the Institution of Engineers India, and holds memberships in several professional organizations. His contributions extend to advisory roles in various governmental initiatives, including the Quantum Initiative of DST. Please welcome DEI Director, Professor Patwardhan.
Thank you very much, Professor Swaruprani Parva Mathur, for the nice introduction. Most revered Chairman, Advisory Committee on Education, Dayalbagh Educational Institutions, Chair East of the 6th DSC Conference and Chief Patron of the 47th National Systems Conference, most respected Rani Sahiba, Sri Gursurup Sood, President, Dayalbagh Educational Institute and Rao Swami Satsang Sabha, Professor Sarvaprani Mathur, Co-Chair West, Professor Anand Srivastav, Coordinator ESC, Professor Andrew Davies, Professor K. Swami Daya, Professor Apur Narayan, Co-Organizers of ESC, Professor Prem Kumar Kalra, IIT Delhi, President, System Society of India, Professor Prem Kumar Kalra, Senior Director, esteemed invited speakers, delegates, colleagues, and dear students. My humble obeisances at the lotus feet of the Supreme Father for all the benedictions on us and a prayer for continuation of the same. It's indeed a privilege to welcome you all to this edition of the twin events, the 47th International Systems Conference and the 6th International Dayalbagh Art, Science and Engineering of Evolutionary/Re-Evolutionary Consciousness Conference. I do hope that the next 3 days will trigger a lot of meaningful discussions and dialogue on this complex subject and pave the way for better understanding of the core issues. The profound ideas explaining the art, science and engineering of evolutionary/re-evolutionary consciousness have been explained by the most revered spiritual master himself in the earlier meetings of the SC. The grand vision contained therein needs to be deeply pondered upon and understood. I leave this exercise for each one of you to undertake. I admit that my limited capabilities prohibit me to help in this task. What I would do instead is to present my understanding of the Dayalbagh perspective. Consciousness is the subjective experience of being aware of oneself and the world. It encompasses thoughts, feelings, perceptions and memories. Despite its central role, consciousness remains a perplexing mystery in science that we are just beginning to unravel. There are several definitions of consciousness. Could be defined as subjective experience, awareness and responsiveness, sentience, global workspace theory of the consciousness defines it as a global broadcasting and integration of information within the brain. There's an integrated information theory in which consciousness is a fundamental property of the systems with high levels of integrated information. There's a higher order thought theory wherein consciousness arises when a mental state is accompanied by a higher order thought. It could be defined as predictive processing, in that consciousness emerges from the brain's continuous process of generating and updating predictions about the world. It could be embodied cognition, it could be self-awareness, or it could be defined as qualia, the subjective feel of qualitative aspects of conscious experience. What we actually conclude from all this is that although these definitions offer valuable insights into the different aspects of consciousness, no single definition provides a complete or universally accepted answer to what consciousness is. We then have the hard problem of consciousness, which is the challenge of explaining how physical processes in the brain give rise to subjective experiences. The question of how and why we have qualia, or the subjective feel of our experiences, is known as the hard problem of consciousness. Scientists have been grappling with this theme of understanding consciousness for quite a while now. But there is something more to that. I borrow a quotation from Steven Weinberg, a Nobel Prize winning physicist, who said, "The more the universe seems comprehensible, the more it also seems pointless." Scientific investigations in cosmology reveal the vastness and complexity of the cosmos. but also paint a picture of a universe governed by impersonal laws, devoid of inherent purpose. With that kind of understanding, the universe doesn't appear to have a predetermined goal or meaning. Its existence might just be a consequence of physical laws or random events. The responsibility of finding meaning and purpose then lies with humans. The quest for meaning is ongoing, and scientists must find their own answers. We also face similar dilemmas in consciousness studies. That brings us to the Eastern perspectives. The Eastern perspectives emphasize interconnectedness, stating that the microcosm has connections to the macrocosm. The mind's role is emphasized, and access to deeper states is possible. It offers insights beyond Western science, highlighting self-awareness, mindfulness, and ethics. In Religion of Saints, the consciousness is the spiritual essence or soul within each individual. It's a defined spark, a fragment of the Supreme Being, capable of experiencing and merging back into the divine source. So what it means is that consciousness extends beyond the physical brain and encompasses spiritual or non-material dimensions. Some of the definitions that we saw earlier actually only limit themselves to what the physical world that can be observed through the apparatus of the senses and the physical brain. The Religion of Saints, however, describes various levels of consciousness of physical region, region of the universal mind, and the purely spiritual region, with 7 in each and 21 in all. It includes physical consciousness, mind consciousness of the region of universal mind, and spiritual consciousness of the highest level, that's beyond mind and senses, where the soul experiences union with the Supreme Being. In the Religion of the Saints, the guidance of a living spiritual master is essential. The master, having realized the highest consciousness, transmits spiritual energy and grace to disciples, helps them to progress on the spiritual path. So here, consciousness is not just cognitive. It's the essence of our being, the divine spark within. Through spiritual practice under a master's guidance, one can elevate consciousness and experience union with the divine. There are parallels in Western thought also. I quote, "We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience." This is from Pierre Chardin, a French philosopher during mid-20th century. That brings us to the art, science and engineering of evolutionary/re-evolutionary consciousness. It represents 4 key perspectives on consciousness, each providing a unique lens for exploration and understanding. When we talk about evolutionary or re-evolutionary consciousness, we say that consciousness evolves over time, shaped by biological, environmental, and other factors. Here we examine how consciousness has developed across species and continues to evolve. This context of evolution and the final goal to where it is headed, that is provided in the Religion of Saints as being the basis, the gracious object of creation. And that is how the evolutionary process is a cyclic process at work till the emancipation of all the universes. In science, we employ rigorous analysis and logical reasoning to understand consciousness. We dissect consciousness into its constituent parts and examine them and their relationships. And it is here that there is an opportunity to go deeper and deeper into a particular facet of consciousness. And it has yielded considerable understanding of individual aspects, whether through neuroscience, through cognitive science, through psychology, or through philosophy of mind. Here, we seek to identify neural correlates, understand cognitive processes, and on the basis of these, develop theories explaining consciousness. Engineering is just the application of the scientific mode. It focuses on integrating the different perspectives for a comprehensive understanding and in bridging the gap between the subjective experience and the objective observation. It explores modifying, enhancing, or creating consciousness through technology. For example, brain-computer interfaces, neuroprosthetics, and now there's a whole huge furore about what AI is doing and can do and will do, and genetic engineering. But there is a small aspect that we need to also look at. Science is very good at tearing things apart to see how they work. And this reductionist approach has yielded considerable results in being able to deeply understand the parts. But not so good at putting them back together again to see how they really work. This is attributed to Alvin Toffler, American writer and futurist. The quote reflects the concern about the reductionist nature of science, and it acknowledges the power of analysis but cautions against fragmented understanding. So in a sense, purely reductionist approach that we are forced to follow in science because of the limitations of the apparatus, the equipment, and the measurement devices that we have at our disposal, brings its own limitations. Breaking things down is essential, but considering the whole system is equally important. And that is why we need to embark on a process that includes holistic thinking, interdisciplinary collaboration, and most importantly, systems thinking that advocates considering interdependencies and feedback loops within a system and the related components. That brings us to the art of consciousness, which is the highest among the three. It's a powerful tool for expressing and exploring consciousness, encompasses various forms of creative expression, whether visual arts, music, dance, literature, performance art. When the performer is deeply engrossed in the performance, the mindfulness, the living in the moment, the kind of experience that one experiences through these creative expressions is something that this area of study promotes. It explores the subjective nature of conscious experience. Gaining knowledge through introspection, phenomenology, and other first-order methods is perfectly acceptable and promoted. It evokes emotions, challenges perceptions, and offers insights into the human experience. And that is why the art of consciousness is regarded as the highest among the components that we are talking about. Here we have a difference in view. This perspective alters the materialistic views of mind and consciousness it suggests a deeper, non-physical dimension to human existence. It promotes individuals to focus on their inner development, cultivates self-awareness, and connect with their spiritual selves. The idea, as I had mentioned earlier, is predominantly that while we may appear to be primarily physical beings, our true nature is spiritual. Therefore, we prioritize spiritual growth and self-discovery within the context of our human experience. All these elements are put together in creating what we call the Dayalbagh way of life. The Dayalbagh way of life, so meticulously planned and established, provides answers to several major issues facing the human race today. The environment crisis, how to feed the teeming world population, the values crisis, air quality deterioration, water scarcity and quality, and so on. The underlying theme is selfless service to society. The art, science and engineering of evolutionary, re-evolutionary consciousness at Dayalbagh offers a holistic and integrated framework for understanding consciousness. By embracing its multidimensionality and exploring it through various lenses, we can gain deeper insights into conscious experience and its implications. I've tried to create and put before you the big picture that could enable further thoughts and discussions in this direction over the next 3 days. Thanks a lot for your patient hearing, and I pray humbly that any mistakes may be pardoned.
Friends, the vision talk by revered Professor Saran Satsangi sir. Let me say a few words to introduce Professor Satsangi. Saran Satsangi is Chairman of the Advisory Committee on Education ACE, a non-statutory body serving as a think tank for building consensus among various stakeholders, Dayalbagh Education Institute, Dayalbagh Agra, India, and since 2003 acclaimed 8th spiritual leader of the Radha Swami faith, Dayalbagh Agra, India. Revered Professor Saran Satsangi, the father of systems movement in India, having graduated with a BSc in electrical engineering from the Banaras Hindu University, presently Indian Institute of Technology, BHU, pursued an MS in the Department of Electrical Engineering at Michigan State University, USA, and earned his PhD in the field of socio-economic systems from the University of Waterloo, Canada. Revered Professor Satsangi took voluntary retirement from the Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, to serve as Honorary Director, CEO, Dayalbagh Education Institute, Neelpuri University. Professor Satsangi has generalized the application of physical systems theory to a variety of conceptual, socio-economic and vital systems by extending physical systems theory as a rudimentary modeling framework from complete creational systems, including not only physical, but also esoteric, mental, and spiritual processes. On May 18, 2003, a gathering in Dayalbagh of about 25,000 representatives of the approximately 500,000 members, followers of Radha Swami faith, Radha Swami Satsang Dayalbagh, from all over India and abroad, proclaimed Professor Saran Satsangi as the 8th spiritual leader of the Radha Swami faith Satsang community for his lifetime. Professor Satsangi is the first awardee of the newly instituted Alumni of Eminence Award, Beyond Distinguished Alumni Award by BHU IIT with the motto, Work is Worship, voluntarily accepted on an honorary basis, as was the case for the earlier award too. I am deeply thankful to you, precious Azur, for guiding us through these conferences and guiding us to publish the book which appeared recently, and the Indian edition is on the way, and we will hear about this on Wednesday more. I kindly request now Professor Prem Satsang for the vision talk.
Facets of the paper on which I underline in extending physical system theory to the domain of brain as a hardware, mind as the one determining what one needs to notice or observe based on the hardware available. I might mention here that right from my schooling days I discovered that the mental training model is in fact very helpful. I discovered through it that I did particularly well in mathematics and abstractions right from my schooling at the age of 5 years. So I have particularly relied on the mental training model in acquiring further and further abstractions or generalizations of the universe. Here, you need to have done mentor who is well versed in the particular domain that is under investigation. So when it came to discovery or generalizing beyond the domain of outer world of physical universe, I naturally looked upon mentors who are familiar with the inner of human experience. And when I needed to learn beyond physical world, I thought of acquiring a mentor who had access to this universe beyond physical universe. Let me call it universe of mind or cognitive universe. In this fashion, I had access to internet which went beyond physical objects, surpassing Yahoo or Google or whatever other internet we have access to in the physical world. There are similar internets which give access to the universe of mind. And once I gained access to the universe of mind, there appeared to be a still more abstract entity which led to the universe of consciousness, or universe of truth self beyond the cognitive self. And this fascinated me, and this is the mode in which I've been carrying out the generalizations of physical system theory, which I learned from the West, at the Michigan State University in East Lansing, US, and then later at the University of Waterloo in Ontario, Canada. As you notice, my PhD thesis was in a generalization of physical system theory to socio-economic systems. And I hadn't, in fact, learned economics earlier, but this physical system theory provided a framework which was very general. All that I had to acquire for measurement was a couple of variables based on the very process of instrumentation and not on any analog. So these turned out to be a cross measurement and through measurement or flow measurement. And this model, learned in the West, proved to be very successful. And I rely still on this particular model. Therefore, while I may claim a modest access to the true self and its universe in the form of an internet, the universe of true self or spirit or consciousness. This is currently the model which I use for investigating the universe. This model divides the macrocosmic universe into three major divisions of physical universe, universe of mind or cognitive universe, and universe of consciousness or universe of true self or universe of spirit, pure spirit or highest abstraction. I might mention here that at the highest abstraction level, we have the universe, global universe, in a very generalized sense, the most abstract universe. And in this universe, the topmost abstraction is assigned to a unified quantum and independent state over a field of imaginary numbers like one uses in Hilbert space. So it's a further generalization of Hilbert space so as to have consciousness approaching infinite degree or dimensions of freedom. At this dimension, we depend upon a technique of uniting our true self or spiritual self with the entire network comprised of the physical universe, the mental universe, and the spiritual universe. So this is the one which consists of Z infinity viewed in the quantum mechanics language as a vector space of n degrees of freedom over a field of complex numbers. So in fact, whether you call this Radha-Swami or call it by another name, it is a unified, abstract space with infinite degrees of freedom. We have developed a motto at the Dayalbagh Educational Institute to pursue consciousness in a way that would lead to selfless service to all living beings, and in particular human beings. Here again we try to pursue human values that are learned, abstract human values. Right during my primary schooling days, such as duty, beauty, humility, courage, temperance, wisdom, loyalty, justice. So we want to inculcate these abstract values by gaining access to the most abstract mathematical entity whom we know as Radha-Swami, because that is the kind of sound which one resonates with at the most abstracted level. So this is how this state is called Radha. Pursuing abstraction further is the purpose of this paper and my vision talk today, where we said, why stop at degree 3? Why not progress to quantum odd-based units with higher degree n, such as 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, and so on, and why not n tending to infinity, so that we have the highest abstraction. Thank you very much.
The vision talk we just heard is an excerpt of the vision talk presented at the Toward the Science of Consciousness conference on April 25, 2016 in Tucson, Arizona in the United States of America. This event was part of the historic international tour undertaken by acclaimed Sant Sadguru, Revered Professor Prem Charan Satsangi Sahab, the 8th spiritual leader of the faith, shortly after doing the 3 nationwide tours. Revered Professor Prem Charan Satsangi Sahab had delivered this vision talk after completing a 16-hour direct flight from New Delhi to San Francisco. This marked an unprecedented tour for an acclaimed Sant Sadguru on a foreign soil ever. The 9-day tour encompassed extensive travel across North America, covering the western, southern, eastern and northern regions, followed by a brief visit to the United Kingdom. With utmost respect, we feel blessed for the brief video clip from the vast reservoir of wisdom that he has been generously imparting to the entire Dayalbagh and scientific community at large. With deep gratitude and humility, we thank you, O Divine Supreme Lord God, Most Revered Professor Prem Charan Satsangi Sahab, for your sacred words of wisdom which have elevated our consciousness to a higher plane of enlightenment. It is only by your grace, boundless compassion and divine guiding hand that the Dayalbagh Educational Institute and Dayalbagh Way of Life have attained unparalleled success both nationally and internationally. In 1889, Rudyard Kipling famously wrote in the Ballad of East and West, "O East is East and West is West, and never the twain shall meet." Yet, as we just heard in the vision talk, not only have East and West met, they have converged, breaking down barriers that once seemed insurmountable. On this momentous day, we prostrate in the deepest reverence at your holy lotus feet, O Supreme Lord. We beseech you to continue showering your grace and mercy upon your children now and forevermore. Thank you.
For the illuminating discourse, and we are confident that you will guide us through the scientific and other discoveries in this world. Now I kindly request Professor Wolfgang Duschow, Director of the Institute of Theoretical Physics and Astrophysics from Kiel University,
to present a token of appreciation from Field University to the dear Professor Tanisa. Welcome, you can come. Yeah.
Professor Tanisa, it's a great honor and pleasure for me to present you with as Professor Srivastav just was saying, a token of appreciation for your leadership of this conference series, for having us here, for giving us the opportunity to come to this fantastic place. For me, it's the second time to be here, and I was already for a long time looking forward to coming back here. We have chosen a book as our present, a small present, by a person which was already mentioned here today, namely by the DEI director. We've chosen a book by Steven Weinberg, the great theoretical physicist, perhaps one of the greatest theoretical physicists of the 20th and early 21st century. He was a Nobel Prize winner for his contribution to the unification of forces in our physical universe. But he was also very well known for not only being aware of, but also emphasizing, as we heard in the previous talks, for emphasizing that what we can derive from physical laws is not necessarily everything that there is in the world. We know, not the least through Weinberg's work and ideas, that there are at the very beginning of our physically described universe, that there is a moment when time, space, energy, and all those quantities we love so much to talk about in today's physics lose their meaning. And so this couples directly to your work, to your ideas. And so we thought that the last book Steven Weinberg got published in 2021 on the concepts of modern physics could be an appropriate way of thanking you for all you are doing in understanding what's going on in a world beyond what we deal with in classical physics. Not classical in the Newtonian sense, but classical in the sense following those mathematical laws that we are talking all the time about in physics. They are important to understand part of the world, but we always have to be aware that there is much more in the universe than what we can deal with in natural sciences. Thank you very much again.
Must have arrived, and it is with you, Dr. Archie. So we may now conclude the vision talk, and with the permission of the chair, we can have a 15-minute break. The international guests may remain seated here. The others may go to the hall, and there is tea served for you.
आपने देखा इस वीडियो में इंटरनेशनल सेमिनार दयालबाग विश्वविद्यालय का है, वहाँ पर ये आयोजन हुआ और जिसमें गुरु महाराज PS सत्संगी साहब, रानी साहिबा, विश्वविद्यालय के सारे अधिकारी, रजिस्ट्रार आनंद मोहन, सी पटवर्धन के अलावा और तमाम अधिकारी मौजूद रहे और उन्होंने इस पूरे कार्यक्रम का संयोजन किया और बड़े ही सफलतापूर्वक ये पहला सत्र समाप्त हो गया। थैंक यू वेरी मच। मैं RB सिंह यादव।